I am very happy to introduce Patrick Crane, who's the VP of Marketing and Advertising for LinkedIn. Before he joined LinkedIn, Patrick was VP of Marketing for Yahoo Incorporated Network Division. He was responsible for taking Yahoo Answers to market in '05 and for marketing the product to the #1 Q&A website on the web. Patrick also led the marketing of Yahoo Mail, helping it become the world's #1 mail provider in 2006 as measured by ComScore. So super excited to have Patrick here today. And with that, here's Patrick.
Good afternoon, everybody. I'm the guy with the 10 tips, but I'm happy to say that, you know Chaz's presentation about the conversation with the customers? Mine's just 10 tips within that, so Chaz is still original and he still has the best list. So this is my presentation. I've been working in this space for a number of years now, since the early days, and this is a collection of thoughts. I mean, some of it's going to be very, very high level in terms of what's happening technologically and socially, culturally, and some of it's going to be very, very specific. So I hope that you get appreciation of what's going on behind this whole Web 2.0 thing, but it also gives you some ideas for how you can use it. So with that, I will try this little Apple TV thingy, and then I'll just use the space bar. So here's what I'd like to cover: a brief history of Web 2.0, and this is purely my own observations. Why is it proliferating? What the forecasts say, which I'll go over really quick because I don't want to present data to you. How you harness the opportunity, and then honing it right down to some specific ideas. So, brief history of Web 2.0. We used to consume information together. We were probably between the 25 to 45 age bracket looking around this room. When I was a kid, I used to sit with my family and my friends and consume stuff and form my opinions about stuff based on that social environment. That's how I remember the early days of what you saw on TV and how you interpreted it. And then this whole massive technology thing hit. SMS, mobile, and then internet. And all of a sudden, the way we consume stuff became very fragmented. We were just reading stuff by ourselves. So it was kind of an unnatural thing, in my opinion. Email and IM helped, for sure. Then you saw this thing, a lot of publishers were using this thing called share, and then most emailed and most blogged. So you're starting to get a sense again of, okay, here are the things that struck amongst people the most, but which people? I said to New York Times, they have this digital day thing once a year, and they have folks like me to come along and talk to them, the top 300 execs in this big auditorium. And they were very proud of their most emailed and most blog feature. I said, yeah, but by who? And how's that relevant to me? So the point of that story is to say, what then happened was this map of the world's relationships started to explode with the likes of MySpace, and then Facebook and LinkedIn and Bebo in Europe, and a number of ones in Asia. But guess what? Because of the engagement on these sites, we are starting to consume information together again. So it's kind of come full circle. We're still staring at screens, which is pretty unhealthy, but at least now we are again consuming and interpreting stuff together and having our opinions formed again by the people that we respect. So it's just an interesting take on what I think has been happening. So why does it matter? I have, I think, one video that I want to share with you it's a story based on this little diagram. The point I want to make about why Web 2.0 matters is that it is creating positive change. LinkedIn is, who's on LinkedIn? Can I just ask a quick show of hands? See, that alone was worth getting on a plane for. LinkedIn, but the social networks as well, they create positive change. This story that I want to show you, it's a quick video, is based on the whole concept of 6 degrees. And this is a story about a guy that got a ton of new business for his company purely through a technology that enables him to see beyond just the people that he knows. And that is a fundamental tenet of Web 2.0. So with that, let me show you this brief video.
I'll get calls from Singapore or Malaysia. These are people that I probably would never come in contact with. My name is Jeff Taylor. I'm Senior Vice President, Fleischman Hillard Government Relations, FHGR. My aha moment was when someone who was on LinkedIn called me and said, do you do patent work? He wanted to know about electrical patents. We do have an electrical patents person downstairs. I said, I'll have this gentleman call you back, sir. What's your telephone number? He gave me the telephone number. I walked downstairs to my colleague and I said, listen, don't spend all that much time with this person. This is not a billable hour. So about 2 hours later, he goes, I just got off the phone with that gentleman. And I said, good grief. you didn't spend 2 whole hours. He goes, oh yeah, I spent 2 whole hours with him. I told you not to do that. He goes, he just gave us $250,000 worth of patent work. And I went home that night, I just started connecting with everybody I possibly could. I started reaching out to some of these companies that are perhaps Fortune 500 companies. I'd start to get some very interesting feedback. I'm working on a California company right now that I just simply sent a general representation. I'd like to represent you in Washington. They came back saying, Jeff, we don't need a representative. And then they said, but we have a major event coming up in Washington. It has to do with security items. We need a sign-off from Homeland Security, Defense Department, Justice Department, and we have no idea how to do that. Is that what you do? That's the drop of gold you're waiting for.
So the reason I use that video is to make a very simple point. This is not a fad. It's not a coincidence that 35% of the pages on the web today are on these social environments. In our world, it's about helping business people be productive. In the social world, it's about getting information, being more in the know, finding a date, whatever it might be. But there's a positive change taking place with these things. I think that the whole space gets a pretty unjust rap by the journalists, but everybody loves to pile on. That's why I showed the video. What is happening in society then? Why do people feel the need to do this, to put themselves out there like this, to form these connections? I think this Fast Companies article, did any of you see this when it came out a few years ago? It was a very, very well-read and well-taught article. But people are no longer defined by their employer. They do want to they do want to manage their own brands. They do want to put themselves out there in the right kind of way. And again, Web 2.0 is letting them do that, not just on the social networks, but on the sites that you've heard about today, like Dig, like StumbleUpon, like Delicious. You are presenting a brand about yourself, whether it's because you want to line up careers or just because you want to say something about yourself and be a maven. I mean, you've probably all read the Gladwell book, the first one. Being a maven is something a lot of people want to be. They want to be that person that advises other people. So that's an interesting sort of societal change. Technologically, computing power is just getting stronger and stronger and stronger for less and less cost. We use something called the cloud server. Don't ask me to explain what it is because I have no idea. I just hear the CTO pulling his hair out every Monday morning, keeping the thing going. But essentially what it does is it enables these multi-degree relationships to form. And with that, this whole idea of 6 degrees becomes real. And then, remember my earlier comment about how we use relationships to help inform purchase decisions? This is the technology behind it that's enabling that to happen. So what do the networks know? Some of you probably wonder this. Some of you look at advertising today. Who's doing test marketing or even non-test full-on marketing on social or professional networks today? Really? So incredibly low number of hands. But here is what these networks know. They know things like education and schooling. They know age. They know professional interests. They know title, salary, career, history. They know the industry. They know the relationship graph. They know who's connected to who. They know the geography. They know the group affiliations, and they know the interests. So it's a tremendous wealth of data. And part of it is because the networks themselves haven't really come to the brands and said, here's how to best leverage this. But there's a wealth of data available, and you guys will be able to start playing with more of that over the coming few years. So the forecasts are pretty huge. eMarketer thinks that these networks will earn, and I underscore the word earn, a huge amount of money by 2011 from online advertising. But I want to make sure, and where you see this presentation going, it's more about the conversational marketing that you heard Chaz talking about. It is not going to be, yeah, run some ads on Yahoo Mail, run some ads on yahoo.com, on MSN, oh yeah, and run some on Facebook and run some on LinkedIn. It will be conversational. And that's the point I want to make, and I'll show you some case studies to that effect. Also, eMarketer showed data, this is August last year? Sorry, November, yeah, June last year. So a huge, huge number of people are on these sites as well.